I mean, when you talk about confrontations and stuff like that I had with people, I mean, I didn't want any of them, but, I don't care if it was Ozzie Guillen or if it was Billy Williams or Albert Bell, but the most unusual one was Dave Stieb. I had found out that Dave Stieb had been picked up by the Chicago White Sox, and I'm on the air, and it was in the early 90s, and I'm going, wait a minute. I love Dave Stieb, but I loved him 2, 3, 4 years ago. He's lost it. He doesn't have it. I don't think that he's going to help the ball club. So I'm doing my show, and I get off, and then I go down to Gibson Steakhouse, having a few libations, and somebody pats me on the back, touches me on the back. I turn around. He goes, hey, I hear you're not a big fan. I go, of what? He goes, well, I'm Dave Stieb. I go, you're Dave Stieb. You are Dave Stieb. And he goes, yeah, he had heard it. And then somebody told him, because everybody was listening to us back then, somebody told him that's the guy. And he had the mustache going, the whole thing. Instead of running me down, why don't you help me? I go, well, how am I going to help you? I mean, I was just being honest, Dave. I mean, I know you're a great pitcher and you're a competitor. He goes, well, the White Sox are on the road, and I have nobody to play soft toss with or to throw with. I go, well, nobody at the ballpark or anything? Well, no, and it's Saturday, tomorrow. He goes, you want to help me? Why don't you catch me? I go, catch you? Now, I've already had about 7 or 8. I go, catch you? You mean like with the bat? He goes, yeah. Because he really thought he could still do it. He was that heavyweight boxer. He goes, here's my address. Come and get me. And it was by Lake Point Tower. Building right next to it. Come get me tomorrow morning. I had a Volkswagen. I tell BB what happened when I got home that night. And BB doesn't usually go on these excursions, these antics that I'm usually on. She goes, I'm coming. I got to see this. Because we watched Toronto. We watched Dave Stieb and all those great pictures there. And then we went. 7:30 in the morning. It's pouring sideways. And before that, I had called him. I go, hey, Dave, it's Mike North. Hey, Mike, how are you? I go, good. He goes, yeah, where you at? I go, what do you mean where am I at? It's pouring sideways. He goes, we'll find somewhere to throw. All right. So I go get him. Pouring. But I was hungover. He goes, is there a viaduct somewhere? You know this town, right? I go, yeah, like the back of my hand. So I take him by Grand and May, around that area. There's a viaduct over the river, by the river there. He has a catcher's mitt. He's got a mask. That's it. He gives it to me. We go under the viaduct. He goes on one side. I go on the other. He must have thrown 65 to 70 pitches. And I mean, when I say he threw, I mean, he threw hard, but not completely hard. But I had no cup, nothing. I was terrified. And we had to wait for the cars to go by. I only dropped a couple. And some of them are dipping a little bit. I mean, there's a curb in front of me. There's a curb. I'm doing the crouch on the curb with the mask like a goof. Okay? I did it. And I'm just glad I survived it, man. And the rain's pouring. People are stopping their cars. It's surreal. It was surreal. To be honest with you, I think it's over when you're throwing to me. I think that was the signal at the end. You're throwing to some hungover talk show host under a viaduct, But he tried, and I learned about the competitive spirit. I have always known about it, but in a man like him who I admire. I admire Dave Stieb. And I know he lives in Reno, Nevada now. I had him on my show. That's the most unusual one. The Dave Stieb throwing in the rain in a viaduct on a Saturday morning in Chicago to get loose with a talk show host. I don't know how many guys have run into that.
Rao Jewelers is the proud sponsor of Raging Mouth, the Mike North story, coming soon.